Welcome to my April 2024 update of the latest current account news and offers. Let's kick off talking about bank switching deals, and we have just had a load of them come and go. Now, if you're regularly following the channel, then you will have seen those individual updates, or if you subscribe to our newsletter, becleverwithyourcash.com/newsletter. If you do want to get that every Thursday, then you won't have missed out. You'd have been able to take advantage of £200 from NatWest, £175 from Lloyds, £185 from Santander, potentially more than £200 of HSBC. Well, that was a bit of a faff. They've all gone. They've all finished, and some of them lasted just 2 weeks, some of them about 6 weeks. There's only one left now, basically, to tell you about. Again, there is a separate video, separate article taking you through the first direct offer, £175 for switching to them. That ends on the 22nd of April, so there's a couple of weeks still to take advantage of this one. And as I detailed in that other analysis, if you go via the cashback site, Top Cashback, there's another 37 quid-ish that you can get on top of that 175 quid, and there is that 7% paying regular saver. So all around, it's a decent one if you're eligible. But again, check out that separate content. Rather than repeat myself, check out those ones for all the details there. And that's it. There's only one proper one going right now. There is still the ongoing Barclays Premier Bank Switch offer, and this one requires you to sign up to their kind of Avios rewards. It's not a fantastic one. It's not one that I would recommend you guys really fuss around with, particularly since Barclays did last year have its own normal bank switching deal. So if that returns, not only is that more lucrative, it's more accessible to people. But there is something I do want to share about this offer, a quick update for you, which is sadly bad news. The reason I gave it previously a value of £167 for this switch deal was because you would earn a bonus number of Avios points. And then those Avios points, if you didn't want to use them towards airlines, you could swap them into Nectar points. And that gave you that value. The bonus points you got gave you £167 to spend, Sainsbury's, Argos, eBay, places like that. Earlier this year, that valuation, the swap from Avios to Nectar, was devalued. Again, I've covered that in more detail. Primarily there I was talking about Amex credit cards, where that were made a much more lucrative reason to do that swap. But also that has been impacting this Barclays Avios rewards if you have them on your current account, or this Barclays Premier switch deal. Now that switch itself is only worth 125 quid. Still better than nothing if you're eligible, because that Premier account does require a high salary, a lot of money saved with Barclays. But again, I wouldn't be fussed too much with it. If you do want more information about it, then it's over at becleverwithyourcash.com/banks. So that's it for switch deals right now. There is another deal that might be worth looking at. There isn't a switch deal, but let me give you a bit of context to why I think it's worth a look at right now. This is with Virgin Money, and you might have seen the headlines in the news that the Build Society nationwide is hoping to buy Virgin Money by the end of 2024, by the end of this year. What that will mean, if it goes through, the regulator's got to approve it, Virgin Money shareholders have got to approve it. If it goes through, they will, for it looks like around 6 years, obviously that could change, they will keep operating as separate brands, and then eventually they will be the Virgin Money brand will disappear and it will become part of Nationwide. We'll come back to some things on that in a moment. But let's say this deal does go ahead, and it looks like it will. That could mean, and there's no guarantee there, it could mean that once the deal's gone through, there won't be any more bank switching deals for Virgin Money. And they haven't had one for well over a year now anyway. I could be wrong about this, obviously, because if it does keep going as its own brand for 6 years, they might decide they still want to attract customers to Virgin Money before it becomes Nationwide. But let's assume that's not going to happen, right? And let's assume you don't currently have a Virgin Money M Plus current account. Then there is a way to get a £30 Amazon voucher. Okay, it's not much compared to what the switching deals were like, but it could be a case, let's just grab it before these accounts disappear. To get this, you have to go via the budgeting app Snoop. Now, it's quite hard to find the offer within Snoop. When I was looking for it, because I knew it was there, I struggled to find it, but eventually I found one of their Snoops, which is basically a kind of a recommendation of a way to save money in their bank switching section. Then right at the bottom of that, they did have this offer for the link, and you have to go via that link within Snoop to get this £30 offer. You apply for the Virgin Money M Plus current account. Once you've got it, you link it to your Snoop account, and then they'll give you that £30 Amazon voucher. So it's worth having a look at that if you've got Snoop and you don't have a Virgin Money current account already. If you don't already have Snoop, then you can get another £5 Amazon voucher on top. You do have to go via a special link that we've got set up with them. You'll find that over at becleverwithyourcash.com/deals. Just search for Snoop and it will pop up in there. But that one will give you an extra £5 when you first apply for Snoop, and then that. So it's worth thinking about. Okay, I'm not saying they'll never do a switching deal. It just, chances are they won't, and this money's available. You could just grab it now. And if you don't want to keep the account, you don't have to. You can then use it for switching as a dummy account later on. Let's quickly go back though to that Virgin Money and Nationwide merger. I said they talked about 6 years where the brands will operate separately. And that also means just if you are an existing Virgin Money or Nationwide customer or a customer of both of them, that means they will keep that separate financial services compensation scheme protection independent of each other, at least for that time. If that changes and they do merge them, and they will merge them at some point, then you'd want to pay attention if you have more than 85k across both the banks. But broadly speaking now, that's going to carry on as it is. And branches as well. Nationwide have made a big thing, haven't they, about not wanting to close any branches. They've extended their promise that they won't close any branches until 2028. That will include Virgin Money branches, apparently, unless they've already been slated to close by Virgin Money. Now, I guess there might be some grey area there in terms of, is that from now? They've already been slated by now, or could that be before the deal goes through if Virgin Money say they want to close some branches? But broadly saying they won't close. Although I would imagine there might be some room there for consolidation. If you've got a town where you've got both a Nationwide and a Virgin Money, then would they really need both of them, at least in the short term? If they are operating as separate brands and separate banks for those first sort of 4, 5, 6 years, then yeah, there's no reason to close them, because you have to be able to do your banking, wouldn't you, at the branch that you have an account with. So that's what's going on with Virgin Money and Nationwide. One quick more thing on Nationwide here. If you are a Nationwide customer, you probably spotted this, that over the last few months, they have reduced the need to use those card readers. Now, this is one of the reasons I ditched Nationwide a few years ago. I really like them as a building society. I think they are probably more ethical than most of the other options we're going to get here in the UK, unless you want to pay for the likes of Triodos. But that app just did my head in, particularly the need to have a card reader to set up new payees every single time I wanted to do that. Well, now you should be able to, within the app, be able to use biometrics or a selfie, something like that, to approve new payees. So that's a big change. You still need the card reader if you want to do those kind of things on online banking, and you'll still need the card reader at the moment to change your personal details. But it just shows at last Nationwide is maybe making those improvements in the app, and it could well be, if these improvements keep coming along, a reason to maybe use them instead of some of those more the app-based banks which were still streets ahead. That's it on Nationwide. Talking of digital banks that have been doing well over the last few years, some news on Chase. Now, if you're regularly following my updates, you'll know already that the Chase cashback, that 1% cashback, which was due to end for some of us in March, has been extended. Again, covered that in full details in a separate video, separate article, so you can check that out with all that information, exactly how that works. But the headlines are the £15 cap every single month, that is staying. That's the most cashback you can earn every single month, but that requires you spend £1,500. Above that, then maybe you want to use a different card. But the big change is that the requirement, the month before you want to earn the cashback, so it's April now, if I want to earn cashback in May, previously it was £500 that needed to be paid into the current account. Now it's £1,500, so 3 times the amount. Now, I know a few people have been a bit upset about this, but there is no need to be, because as I cover in that separate content, it doesn't have to be in one go. So if you're already putting £500 in, all you need to do, if you don't have more money to add in one go, that same £500 you put in, you take it out, you put it back in, you take it in, put it back in. That's done. £1,500 is in there, and it triggers the cashback for the following month. One thing to be slightly careful of, and I think you'll be all right now, but you might have fallen foul of it just in the last month, is that the new rules also allow that money to go into the savings account. It doesn't have to go into the current account. But that make sure that what I've been seeing, a few people have let me know that they got caught out there because they did this £1,500 into the savings account before the change actually happened, which means they didn't put £500 into the current account as the old rules required. So just be careful there where you are on that cycle, if you're on the old rules or the new rules, because the new rules only come into apply when your first 12 months or your extended period come to an end. So just watch out for that. What else we got on Chase? Chase said they were earlier this year going to allow cash deposits at pay points. And then they quickly turned around and said, oh no, we can't do this. And they've removed that. They amended the terms and conditions to say you're going to be able to do it. And then they removed it. So at the moment, there's no news yet of when this is going to happen. Hopefully it will be soon. That was meant to happen, obviously, just in the last month or so. Hopefully it's not too far until we have that. When you can do it, I'll let you know. It's a nice extra to have. At the moment, of course, in the meantime, if you want to put cash into Chase and they don't allow that, well, if you've got another bank that does allow cash deposits, just pay it in there and then transfer it over digitally. So it's not a biggie, but it'd be nice to have when it happens. And similar thing, Monzo have said that they now will let you pay money in at a post office as well as at pay point services. However, they will still keep that £1 charge every time you do this. There is a maximum of £300 you can put in one go, and there is a £1,000 cap on how much cash you can add in 180 days, I think it is. So again, this isn't perfect for people who have a lot of cash, but if you just have a little bit of money every now and again you do want to pay in, then that is good news. More post offices around, more accessible, as well as those pay points. Although personally, again, to avoid a £1, I would do, as I said, with Chase, I'd pay it into a different account and then transfer it over. What else to tell you about? Okay, here's an interesting one. This is something that came about in our Facebook community. If you're not already a member, please do come and join us there. This is someone called Ben shared a warning he got on his RBS app. And this is basically, he'd been using his RBS debit card to top up money onto Revolut. The reason he'd be doing this is because the RBS has a really good savings account, digital regular saving. You also get it at NatWest. It pays 6.17%. The problem is you're only allowed to pay in £150 every single month as a normal deposit. You can only add more on month if you use the roundup feature from the bank. The roundup feature is when, let's say you spend £4.80. If roundup is turned on, 20p would be rounded up to £5. 20p would go into the savings account. Now, some people have been talking about this for a while, and I always issued a warning when people have talked about it. They've been hacking this because they've been using, rather than actually spending money elsewhere, they've been using, they're topping up Revolut with their debit card by 99p, or in Ben's case, £10.99. And what would happen there is, sorry, £10.01. What would happen then is 99p will be added to the digital regular saver. So more money to earn that high rate of interest on. And there's a double up feature as well. So actually £1.98 was being added every time Ben did this. Now, you think, what's the problem with that? The problem was Ben was doing this a lot, a number of times, to hack it. And again, a number of people have talked about doing this with both accounts. I've always warned against it because doing small transactions a huge number of times, it's going to trigger warnings. This is exactly what Ben got. And this is the message he shared in our Facebook group. Excessive top-ups and transfers. Using Revolut to gain points or provide yourself with a cash advance from your credit card is against our terms and conditions. If similar behavior continues, we may need to suspend your Revolut account. So, sorry, this was Revolut who sent this, not RBS who sent that particular update. This is something you need to be really careful of. I've talked about using Revolut as a way to take advantage of the Halifax reward hack, where you can put £500 onto your Revolut card, and then that will count as debit card spending for Halifax for them to give you the cinema ticket or the £5 a month, right? And that, doing it once a month and keeping the money in for a little bit of a while, which is what I do, seems to be okay. Excessive is what that message from Revolut said. Excessive use of this is basically an abuse, and they will be on you. Show they're already on it. So be really, really careful of doing that. I would not be doing the top-up hack at all with the likes of NatWest and RBS. But be really, really, really careful of that. Okay, a few more things to quickly go through here. TSB launched at the start of the year something called My Rewards, and this is their version. If you're a customer of TSB, you can get access to exclusive discounts. It's a little bit different to some of the other kind of cashback ones we see where you have to activate the offer and get the cashback. These are kind of special deals and offers as a TSB customer. It's pretty rubbish. Definitely not a reason to go to TSB. When I looked at some of the promotions there, you can often save money the same amount or more elsewhere by shopping around. So if you have a TSB account, have a look at it. But my warning is just do make sure you can't get a better deal by going around. That's all I want to tell you about that one. What else? Right, more branch closures. NatWest, Barclays, Halifax, Lloyds, RBS, all have announced more branches are going to go. I have got lists over at becleveryourcash.com of which ones are going. So if you don't already know about it and you want to check if you might be affected, you can go and see those lists there. This is carrying on. It's going to keep going on because fewer people use their branches. And that brings on to the next one here, which is Metro Bank. Metro Bank, as you might know from previous updates or just in the news, they've been struggling over recent years. And one of the things they've been doing as a cost-cutting measure is to see where they can reduce opening hours. And they've now announced, as of the end of March, they will be closed on Sundays. More than half of them will be closed on Saturdays now, and they also won't be open as long as they used to be. One of the big selling points of Metro as a branch was the weekend openings, the late night openings, the early morning openings. So you weren't having to take time out of your working day to go and do it. They still have Saturday hours, which many banks don't do. They still open a little bit later, maybe to 5:30 or something like that, open at 8:30. So you could do things before and after work. But broadly speaking, that big feature is going to be disappearing from Metro banks. A couple more quick ones for you as well. Curve has introduced 1% referral offers. So if you refer a friend to Curve, you'll get 1% cash back for 30 days. If you refer 2 people, you'll get it for 60 days, 3 people for 90 days, and so on. 1%, so what? You can get 1% from Chase, absolutely. Well, you can stack Curve with Chase. So that would give you 2% cash back on the spending in those months where you have that extra sort of top up. I personally wouldn't bother with this though, because you've got to get someone to sign up. They've got to do it. They've got to use it. And all you're getting is 1% for 30 days on your spending. The Curve, the proposition used to be fantastic. Now it doesn't really deliver much, but it's worth having a look at if you know people who might want to sign up for that voucher, that referral code, and take advantage as well, and also stack, so you both got 2% for a while. Talking of cashback cards, Trading212 have started to roll out the release of their debit card. Trading212 is an investment app. They've recently kind of made a push into savings, although with investing, and they've had a wait list going for the last few weeks for this debit card. A few people have started to get invites. It's still not been pushed far and wide. I will look into it in more detail when that happens. But headlines are, it's 0.5% cashback, up to £20 of cashback every single month. I can't see how it's worth it, personally, because you can get 1% elsewhere. And why you would go for something that pays half the amount, I don't know. But I'll look into it in more details, because I know there will be a lot of interest in that card. And one last thing to share with you is you've got a couple more weeks to vote in the British Banking Awards. These are run by our sister site, Smart Money People, and all the winners are decided by customer vote. So it's your chance to have your say on what you think are the best ones in categories such as, here are just some of the key ones here: Best British Bank, Best Banking App, Best Building Society, Best Ethical Finance Provider, Best Newcomer. There are many, many, many more there. And you guys saying what you think can and will make a difference. So I would encourage you to kind of share your thoughts there. To do this, to vote, you go to the Smart Money People website. I'll link to it in the notes below here as well, and you'll leave a review. And if you do that, you'll also be entered into a prize draw to win a £1,000 voucher. So you might get lucky and win that one as well. But yeah, please do sort of have a look at that, because this is often the kind of thing where, you know, you listen to me, what I say, you know what my views on things are. But it'd be great for you guys also to share your thoughts and your opinions in a way that can actually make a difference. Because when people are choosing products, they were paying attention to who wins these awards. My name's Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching this. Remember, be clever with your cash.com/banks for all the latest bank switching deals. And check out these videos here for more ways to make the most from your bank.